So, hi all. Today I'll be presenting about Cypress. So today's agenda would be I'll giving introduction to Cypress, then I'll tell you about Cypress environment and usage, and what are its main features and limitations. Then I'll we will learn about Cypress environment setup. After this, we will learn the basics of how to write and execute tests and its syntax. We will After this we will learn about locators and commands in Cypress. Also, I will give you guys an overview of assertions in Cypress. So let me quickly start with its introduction. uh, Now, coming to what is Cypress. So, Cypress is a front-end web automation testing tool, and it's open source, and it is developed for modern web applications. So previously applications were developed using static HTML, CSS, and using some pieces of JavaScript. But now React.js, AngularJS frameworks are used in web application development, and those web applications are called as modern web applications. So we can automate any application which runs on browser using Cypress. Coming to its advantages, so it has good performance and it can be integrated with CI/CD pipelines. It has native access to the DOM and web applications too. Now let's know about the components of Cypress. In Cypress, we have components like Test Runner and Dashboard. So Test Runner, which is a free version using which 80% of the testing activities can be done, like designing of the frameworks, writing and executing automation test cases. And Dashboard, coming to Dashboard, which is a paid version, so it provides additional features like parallel testing, test recording, and CI/CD integration. So these were all about the components of Cypress. Coming to our next slide, let's explore about Cypress environment and usage. So Cypress is built on Node.js environment, and it comes packaged as NPM, Node Package Manager module. Here we can get all the libraries required for Cypress tool. Now, which languages are supported by Cypress? So Cypress supports only JavaScript and TypeScript, and it is completely different from Selenium, and it does not support any of the Selenium libraries. It has its own libraries. So now this slide is all about who can use Cypress. So initially it was developed to perform unit testing and integration testing, and slowly there were so many features which got implemented as a part of Cypress, and slowly testers also started using the tool. So now Cypress is widely adopted by testers for end-to-end test automation. Cypress can also be used to automate API testing. So Cypress supports both web and API testing. Now let's see what are the main features of Cypress. So these are the main features of Cypress. Let's take a look at each of them one by one. So first is time travel. Cypress takes snapshot of every step during the test execution. It allows navigating back and forth through the test run to inspect the state of the application. So this comes under time travel. Coming to automatic waits, in Cypress we have default wait time. It automatically waits for the web elements, page loads, and other asynchronous operations before performing actions. Unlike in Selenium, where we are required to give explicit waits, so here that's not here this feature is inbuilt in Cypress. Coming to debuggability, it's really easy to debug our test steps directly within the Cypress test runner. Now, consistent result, it means it is designed to provide reliable and consistent test results, even when it's run multiple times, which means same test will give same results even if it is run n number of times. Coming to cross-browser testing, Cypress supports cross-browser testing, which means it supports testing across various browsers. Example, it supports Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Electron. So these are the browsers which are supported by Cypress. screenshots and videos. So screenshots and videos are automatically captured in Cypress. We don't need to give any extra command. Like in Selenium, we are supposed to give commands to take screenshots. So here it is an inbuilt feature. Now these were the pros of Cypress. It has few limitations as well. Let's look into the limitations of Cypress. So this slide contains the limitations of Cypress. Let's look into each of them. First comes the application types. So this means Cypress cannot automate desktop or window-based applications. Also, it cannot support mobile applications. Coming to the browser support, in Cypress we have limited support for certain browsers compared to other tools. Example, Cypress has no support for Safari browser. Now file input output. So it can be challenging to read or write data directly to files due to browser security restrictions. Since Cypress runs in browser and browser has limited access to the local storage files, so it requires Node.js bridge, which will create separate process to read and write from local storage. And if those actions are not performed in right way, then there is a chance of unexpected error or data loss. Coming to reporting, so third-party reporting tool integration is also limited in Cypress. Now language restrictions. So Cypress supports only JavaScript and TypeScript, unlike Selenium, which supports many languages like Python, Java, Ruby, Perl, etc. So Cypress only supports these two languages. Now I have also mentioned here the official website of Cypress, which is cypress.io. So they have user-friendly documentation. So anybody who wants to learn about Cypress can visit the website. Now coming to Cypress environment setup. So there are certain prerequisites for Cypress environment setup. We need to download and install Node.js and ensure that a supported version is used. We also need to download and install a code editor. I have used VS Code here. You can choose your preferred code editor. Coming to project setup, we need to create a new project folder and open it in VS Code. After that, we need to open a terminal and then execute the given command here, npm-i init, to initialize package.json file. So it creates package.json file in your root project or app directory before installing Cypress. Now to install Cypress, we need to give this command npm install Cypress. After this, we need to launch Cypress. This is the command npx cypress open. Now in this slide, we will see the basics of writing and executing tests. So all the tests in Cypress are created under Cypress E2E folder in VS Code project. If we talk about the terminology used in Cypress, so in Cypress, the test cases and test suites are called as specifications or spec files. So each spec file can contain multiple test suites, and we can create multiple tests in each and every spec file. Now let's see how to launch Cypress using test runner. So after giving command npx cypress open, which we saw in the previous slide, this launchpad appears, as you can see here. So in this launchpad, we will be able to choose our testing type. So here we can click on E2E testing. After we click on E2E testing, in the next window, which is create your own spec. So here we can click on create new spec to create our own spec file. Extension for the spec file name should be cy.js, and after this we need to click on create spec to create our new spec file. Now a sample code is created automatically in the Cypress app, and the same sample file will be reflected in the VS Code under E2E folder. Now let's see the syntax of writing test cases. So Cypress uses Mocha framework by default for structuring of the tests. Using Mocha syntax, tests are structured using describe, describe block for test suites and it block for individual test cases. Let's see a basic structure example. Here you can see one describe block is there, and there is one it block as well, which represents one test. So one spec file can have n number of suites, that is n number of describe block, and every describe block can have multiple it blocks. So one describe block can have multiple it blocks. Here you can see here I have provided hook before each. So basically in Cypress, hooks are the functions that let you set up preconditions or clean up after tests. So these are the part of Mocha testing framework, and few of common Cypress hooks are before, after, before each and after each, and each of them have different functionalities. Coming to the commands, you can see cy.visit and cy.get here. So to visit the URL, we use cy.visit, and cy.get is used to get the web element. We will be learning more about commands in our upcoming slides. Also, you can see I have used dot should as an assertion, like the web element should have length of 2. We will again learn about assertions in our next slide. Now let's see how to run tests in Cypress. So in our previous slide, I have already explained you how to launch our Cypress tool, and then coming to the browser and then choosing the spec file, and after clicking on your specific spec file, you can run your test using Cypress tool. Now let's explore the second way of running tests by giving command in terminal. So here you can see the first command is npx cypress run. So with this command, all executions will be done through the terminal. By default, it will follow headless mode, as we can't see any UI and it is executed at the back end. It executes in Electron browser by default with no visible UI. Now, if I want to see everything on my UI, so in that case, we can execute the same command just by adding one more option, that is ---- headed. So the command will be npx cypress run ---- headed. It will launch the browser and it will show the execution in browser. So what npx cypress run command does is it will execute all the spec file under E2E folder, but if I want to execute a specific file, then the command will be npx cypress run --spec and the relative path of that spec file. So as you can see an example here, npx cypress run --spec, this is the relative path of the spec file. So this headless file will execute in the Electron browser, which is a default Cypress browser, as we didn't specify the browser here. So if we want to execute in a specific browser, suppose if we want to execute in Chrome browser, then we need to run the below command like this one, npx cypress run --browser Chrome. So we need to specify our browser here, and it will again execute in headless mode. So if you want to execute in Chrome browser and in headed mode, then the command would be npx cypress run --browser Chrome --headed. So now let's move to our next slide, which is all about the locators and commands in Cypress. Let's first explore what are the types of commands in Cypress. So Cypress offers various commands to interact with elements. We can use cy.command in the code. For example, as we saw in the previous code, cy.visit will navigate to the root URL of the testing app. So there are a lot of commands already available, like cy.click, cy.type, cy.check, cy.get. So like using cy.get, we can identify the web elements. Also, Cypress has an asynchronous nature, which means it won't wait for previous command to be executed first and then execute another. Instead, what Cypress will do is Cypress will receive all the commands instantly and it will add wait or delay accordingly. So this was all about the asynchronous nature of Cypress. Now let's check the locators in Cypress. So locators are the ways or strategies used to find and interact with the elements on a web page, such as buttons, input fields, or links during our automated test cases. So Cypress by default supports only CSS locators. Earlier it used to support XPath, but now it does not support XPath. Only CSS locator we can use to locate our web elements. The method to identify element in Cypress is like using cy.get command. Inside the bracket we need to give the locator as a parameter. So this is the syntax: cy.get locator. CSS supports multiple combinations for locating elements. Some of them are tag id, tag class, tag attribute, and tag class attribute, and tag is optional in all the four combinations. So if we want to locate an element with id, so we need to give hash before id, so it will be hash id or hash tag hash id. And if it is a class, we need to use dot before the class, and we can use tag dot class as well. So similarly for attribute, it will be a bracket attribute and value, and for class attribute it will be dot class attribute and value. Also we can append it with tag dot tag, like tag dot class attribute and value. Now let's see an example of locator in our next slide. So here cy.get is a command to get all the elements that match the selector, and here the selector is a class locator. Here dot to do list is a class name, and as we have used dot, so it becomes a class locator. Following with li, the element list item has class name, so class name is to do list. So combined cy.get will try to locate the elements li with to do list class. After get command we have should here. So should should is used as an assertion, which is chained with the command, which I'll be explaining it in the next slide about the assertions. Now let's get the overview of assertion. So what is assertion? Basically, assertion is a validation point. When you automate any test case, we need to add one or multiple assertion. So assertion could be like title of the page can be verified, or some web element is displayed or not on the web page, or some property of the web element, or you can say some text present on the web page or not. So these are the kind of assertions we can use in our code. Cypress is provided with so many types of assertion, and basically these assertion come from the Shy library, which Cypress uses internally. Mainly Cypress assertions are divided into two categories. First is implicit assertion. So these are the default or built-in assertions in Cypress, and under implicit assertion we will use two keywords, should and. Now second assertion is explicit assertion. So these assertions are for more complex and conditional validations, and here we use keywords like expect and assert. Now let's move forward and see an example of implicit assertion. So as discussed earlier, we use cy.get command to get all the elements that matches the selector, and then we chain it with dot should, with like dot should is a keyword and it has have dot length. To this will, what it will do is it will assert that there are two matched items, and if this matches, it's a pass, and if not, the test fails. So like this we can use assertions in our code. So overall for implicit assertions, these are the keywords which are supported for should, like equal, not dot equal. Like in our example we used here have dot length. So these are the other keywords. equal, not dot equal, include, not dot include, contain, exist, b dot visible for element to be visible. If you want like have dot length, it is for the number of elements, and value, have that value is to check input field value, and many more for various properties and states. Now let's get into explicit assertion. So, as I mentioned earlier, explicit assertion allows more complex and conditional validations. Let's quickly get into the next slide and see a basic example. So, here we are expecting true to be equal to true. So, it allows us to perform conditional validation, and it holds more control on the program flow.